There you go.
And and we are live with our 15th episode of SEC Tavern Talk. I'm your host, JB Huffman. Mr. Ashton Clark and Mr. James McKissick are not with us today because they do not like basketball because they're not reformed enough. Um, it is what it is. So we have I'm here with my buddy Rob and his friend Justin. Justin, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into the tavern, and who you are representing today?
Well, I actually know Rob pretty well. We went to high school together, and man, I follow sports pretty religiously. Big Alabama fan, and since I'm an Alabama fan, I follow the Birmingham Iron, Fort John, and Roll Tide.
Forge on.
And baseball. I mean, I follow my two biggest sports are baseball and football. So I follow football religiously and Braves baseball religiously, even though we suck. But but yeah, at least I have one good team out of the mix. So
Hey, it's all good. I don't have any good teams out of the mix. Like I'm an Arkansas Razorbacks fan, which I was really really happy to make it to the finals of the uh, College World Series this last year,
yeah,
and almost won it with one out away, and we dropped the dang pop fly. And we ended up losing that game, and then the next game, and whatever. So
that
it's
was rough.
it's just being an Arkansas fan. You come to learn to deal with near misses like that.
Yeah,
I do believe if we had not beaten Florida in the previous round, Florida would have gone on to beat Oregon State because they wouldn't have screwed it up like we did. Um, so yeah, even okay. We've got a schedule today. We're going to talk a little bit about football and basketball, but we're going to start it off with football. Let's talk about National Signing Day. It happened a couple of weeks ago, and we have not met in 3 weeks, I believe. We've taken a few weeks off. Uh, Rob, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with National Signing Day and the highlights of that and what you saw throughout the SEC?
All right. Well, the SEC did really well with signing. I can't remember how many in the top 25. I want to say it was like 10 schools. Justin, do you remember how many
A
exactly?
uh,
lot.
I do know we had I think 12 teams in the top 25, top 26 actually. So I think
Yeah.
that's awesome for the SEC.
Yeah. Arkansas got in there. I think, um,
Tennessee,
yeah.
Florida, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I think Missouri was like 26. I think.
Yeah. We had,
They dropped.
we had, finished with Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Texas A&M, Florida, all in the top 10, and then Tennessee and Auburn just outside the top 10.
Yep.
So Auburn, I think, fell just a little bit because Georgia flipped one of their top wide receivers,
hmm
which I am stoked about.
hmm
After Jaden Hazelwood decided to flip to Oklahoma, we flipped Pickens back to Georgia, and now I have two of the top wide receivers, as well as a transfer from um, Miami and a tight end transfer from Tennessee, both grad transfers, so they can play immediately. So got some targets for From, but um, then you just, I mean, Alabama just had a monstrous class as well with, is it 27
Uh,
commits?
I think we finished with 27.
Yeah, they got 27. We had 24, um, and then A&M had quite a few as well. Florida was I think Florida and Tennessee were the biggest shockers to me as far as just how they finished. Tennessee got for the first time two 5 stars. It's never happened since the
Offensive line.
classification. Yeah,
Yeah.
two offensive 5 star offensive tackles, and Florida finished out with a pretty impressive class. As
hmm
much as JB hates Dan Mullen, he's doing a good job over there.
I don't hate
Uh,
Dan Mullen.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I hate Gus Malzahn.
Okay. Well, still.
I like Dan Mullen actually.
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay, well, I stand corrected. But that's kind of my 2 cents. I think the SEC did really well, and I think it's going to be an interesting season. The one thing I will say is to you West guys, I think it's not going to be such a disparity between the East and the West this year. I still think the West is going to be better, but not as dominant as they have been in previous years. The East is on the rise again. I think Tennessee's still a year or two away from being back to seriously competing. I think they're going to have a lot better year this year, especially with the coaching hires they've got. And but I think the East is going to be interesting between Georgia and Florida, and be interesting to see if Kentucky can still. I don't know. I think without Benny Snell, I don't know how that's going to work, but be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Like I think the East is going to is going to get better for sure. Actually, when we had this show a few weeks ago, someone asked who is the next heir to take over in the SEC, and we all named East teams. It was like Florida, and we even I think somebody might have said that Mizzou might be giving people a run for their money.
Who said that?
I don't know.
Because everybody in this group was saying we need to, if we eliminate one team in the SEC, it's Missouri.
Oh no, it was Florida, and then we were talking about Tennessee, who might be coming up there. Yeah, the East is definitely going to take a step in the right direction, which is I don't care to be in the West, which I don't care for the West to be so much better. I like a balanced SEC, to be honest. So I would love to see the East step up. Justin, what did you think about the National Signing Day? What all happened?
Well,
your take on it.
Coming from an Alabama fan, my biggest take on that first is I'm going to set aside the Alabama class for a second. And the two biggest takeaways right now are I'm going to go ahead and give props to Tennessee. I got a couple buddies that are Tennessee fans, and some that I can actually have good conversations with. And Tennessee actually really surprised me with their recruiting class. Kind of like what Rob said. You have two offensive tackles, 5-star offensive tackles that I think can come in and make an immediate impact. They had a running back in Quavarius Couch or something like that. I don't know their names exactly. And they had Eric Gray. And so what I know about Tennessee, they've got a lot of talented players come in this class, and so I'm impressed about that, and I think that'll be good for their university. And kind of talk about just football for a second. Jeremy Pruitt, coming from Alabama, I like what his mindset is because he's told their players, like, sorry for all Tennessee fans out there, but he says, our team sucks, and if you don't want to play for me, I'll go find people who are blind and in wheelchairs that'll play for me. But if they want to give me the heart, then I'm going to play them. So I like what he's doing over there. I think that he's getting guys that want to play for Tennessee, want to play immediately. And I don't care. I think he has a mindset. I don't care if we suck, but I want guys that are going to play for me and finish out the plays and, stick with me all season long. So I like what Tennessee's doing right now. A second thing I saw is Georgia had a really good class too. I mean, like Rob said, they flipped George Pickens, and that was a very impressive flip for me. I didn't see that coming at all. And with Georgia getting N'Kobe Dean, a 5-star linebacker, and Nolan Smith, 5-star defensive end, I mean, I think they're stacking up on defense. My concern for Georgia, which Rob might can talk about this a second, is after this year when Fromm's gone, I don't know who's going to be their next heir at quarterback. So that's my concern with Georgia is what are they going to do when Fromm leaves? Now to Alabama, we had a very big early signing day. We didn't have a big end to it, but we did get the Ishmael Sofser from LSU, and that's a big win in the Louisiana area where Nick Saban's been winning a lot. And I see a bunch of guys coming in. We're going to have an immediate need for running backs with 2 guys leaving. We got Trey Sanders and Evan Neal was a lineman, and he's 6'6", 380 pounds. I think y'all see him start right away, or at least have some immediate playing time. And I've watched a couple of guys, and Nick Saban recruits some lower guys. We have almost a 3-star running back that I've watched highlights, and he's a fast guy. I think they're going to kind of use him like a Kenyon Drake. So I'm excited to see how those classes are going to go. And y'all are talking about like what teams might take over. I think Georgia's a good threat to take over right away, as long as they address a quarterback need here in about another year. But coming from an Alabama fan, I still think I like what Tennessee's doing. I think Pruitt is on the right track, and he has the right mindset of getting players that want to play for him. And I'm excited to see how a lot of these smaller programs. I don't like Dan Mullins. I think Florida will be a bust. I don't expect Florida to be a threat. And I think Missouri might have a threat this year with Kelly Bryant. But after that, I think Missouri is just going to be typical Missouri. I don't see a threat with Missouri anytime soon.
Yeah. I think they will be a threat to the East this year. I think KB brings a lot of experience to the table, and who knows what's going to happen with the NCAA investigation that went on with them. Like they got slammed recently. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that, because I think they appealed it, so it might delay it for a year or so. Yeah. I just want to go over the top 25 real quick, because it's just Alabama is number 1. Obviously, they always are. Georgia is number 2. I can't say it. I can't even get it out of my mouth. Answer it for me, Rob. That Texas. Ugly, bile orange Texas is number 3. It's not burnt orange. It's bile orange. Like it's the stuff that gets stored in your gallbladder. Bile orange. Texas A&M is number 4. LSU is number 5. Oklahoma 6. Oregon 7. Michigan 8. Okay, we'll see. I'm not a believer in Mr. Harbaugh. Florida is number 9. Clemson 10. Auburn 11. Tennessee 12. Michigan. Penn State 13. Ohio State is 14. How about the Blue Blood Ohio State being at 14? I like it. Notre Dame at 15. Washington 16. South Carolina comes in at 17, oddly enough. Florida State 18. Nebraska 19. USC 20. Stanford 21. Ole Miss 22. Arkansas 23. Mississippi State 24. And Purdue, the team that just beat the pants off of Ohio State, comes in at 25. The things that stick out to me there is some Blue Buds are way down on that list, like USC and Florida State and Notre Dame and Ohio State, which makes me really happy about life.
Yeah.
Another thing that sticks out to me is Ole Miss at 22. What did they do? They came off a losing season, which we did too, and we're at 23. We went 2-10 and got at 23, but we have a better coach than they do, and a more storied program. But anyway, Ole Miss comes in at 22, and they flipped some people. One being an Arkansas commit, and another one being someone who had offers at Alabama and Clemson and everybody in the country, Jerrion Ealy, which is a 5-star recruit. They flipped him on National Signing Day. I wonder what happened in Oxford.
Well, I think he was already committed to Ole Miss and decommitted. My personal opinion about Jerrion Ealy, he's a baseball guy. He's going to be unless he pulls a Kyler Murray, which I know we'll talk about that later. But I think he's just looking for a university where he can just go have fun for a season or two. and he's going to pick baseball. He's already said, his projection in the MLB draft is like top 10. So I think he's just going to go find a place where he's going to start immediately at running back, have fun with some football, and then I think he'll take on baseball. So I think that's what my first thought was. I think he's just looking for a university to go have fun at for a year.
And JV, you left out the fact that they flipped a quarterback from Georgia.
That's true. They did. Who was it? What was that guy's name?
Plumlee.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, Ole Miss is back to their old. They just came off of NCAA sanctions, to where they're actually bowl eligible again, and they're already back to paying players, which is what they got. I'm sorry, they flipped it. They've been.
I'm not even worried about that one.
All right, what about Nolan Smith posting on his Instagram after he signed with Georgia his brand new Ford Raptor out in the parking lot? Did y'all see that?
Yeah.
So what's up, Georgia?
Just because someone posts a truck doesn't mean the school got it for him.
I know.
I'm not saying they didn't, but
somebody left $40,000 in cash at the family's doorstep and said, "Do what you want." No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know what Kirby and the coaches do. I can't accept or deny that. So
what? Another thing I was going to ask you guys. Maybe I don't know if y'all want to talk about this, but what y'all's thoughts on the transfer portal with Justin Fields getting a hardship to start right away at Ohio State?
I'll take that one. So
do it to it, bro.
Let me start off by saying I have nothing against Fields transferring. I get the decision. So I have nothing against him at all transferring. I think it's smart of him. I honestly don't get why he came to Georgia in the first place, because he knew what he was getting into. He even said that much, and he even said that when people asked if Georgia didn't hold up their promises, that's why he was leaving, he said, no, that was not the case. They held up to everything they promised me, they came through on. But my issue was the reason behind his waiver goes against the rules.
Yeah.
The reason the waiver was set up is if you have like an emergency with family and you have to be near home, which he's moving away from home, so it makes even less sense. Yeah. But what it says is due to your, I don't remember the exact wording, but due to your betterment of health or something along those lines. And I mean, let's just, let's call it what it is. The statement he made, now I don't know if this was him or his dad pursuing this. A lot of people have said that it's his dad that brought this about and pursued it. But when the N-word was used, he said he did not feel safe to pursue a baseball career at Georgia, which he never intended on doing anyway. But yes, let's use that as an excuse to get a waiver and bend the rules, because the NCAA is going to give in on political reasons.
Yeah.
And that's the problem I have with it. I don't have a problem with someone transferring to better themselves, to have an opportunity. If I'm sitting on the bench and I have an opportunity to start to play somewhere else and be a star, that's going to be a consideration. I have to at least consider that. It's your career. I get it.
See, my concern is if you allow this one player to transfer to better themselves and to bend the rules, because, you normally have to sit out a year unless you're a graduate transfer. Jalen Hurts did it by the books. He graduated from the University of Alabama in December, did it by the books, transferred to Oklahoma, eligible to start right away. And he did it by the books, and much respect to him. But now you got all these guys that are saying, well, I want to transfer. I want to start right away because I can't play. And now I think the NCAA is going to get themselves in a whole big mess, because you're not going to have – you're never going to have a good starting quarterback or a second string quarterback on your bench now, because if he's a good second string quarterback, he can probably go start right away. So all they're going to say is, well, I could start. I mean, if I'm a good starting quarterback, I'm going to be like, well, I can go Ole Miss or Arkansas or Vanderbilt. I can start right away. Let me transfer. And you're literally ruining the sport because they committed to the university. I feel like if the university offers them a scholarship and you break your end of the deal, then I think you need to sit. And I think now now the NCAA has just ruined the sport for future events because now they just set a standard of now you can transfer and start right away if your feelings are hurt or can't start. And I don't like that at all.
Well, and what I'll say to that is I agree with that 98%. The only thing is I agree with the initial reason why they had the waiver.
Yeah.
If you've got a sick relative, if you're across country because you decided, whatever this school offers me, whatever benefits, I just want to play there. And you're away across country and you've got a dying relative, like your mom's sick, and you need to come home and be there and support your mom. I get that.
Yeah.
But it's getting to the point where we're just going to have open transfer portals and everyone's going to be able to transfer anywhere.
Yep.
You might as well just go ahead and go to that because that's what it's getting at. Because politics are coming down from the NFL and the professional leagues, and now they're affecting college sports, and it's frustrating because politics shouldn't play in.
Yeah.
Just set the rules and stick to the rules that you set.
Yeah.
But
now I know we're on a schedule, so I don't know if I could ask this, but I want to ask you guys.
Go for it.
With talking about the NCAA ruining things, kind of going back to the Alliance Football League, I saw where I think the XFL was actually pursuing Trevor Lawrence to start immediately in their league, and they're going to pay him $100,000 a year, give him free schooling at a community college. Do you think these startup leagues, if successful, can hurt the NCAA by offering top star athletes to play immediately in their league to get paid? Because you got guys that are coming from poor parts of town. Like Eddie Lacy came from Louisiana. His home just got destroyed by Hurricane Katrina when he came, and he came to University of Alabama, not getting paid, playing for 3 to 4 years, and then going to the NFL to make millions. So, do you think these startup leagues can affect college players' decisions by going to these startup leagues, seeing the NFL? Like NFL scouts will still watch them, but they get paid. So now you're going to have like lesser talent in college football. Do you think that could be an issue in the future?
I look at basketball. Before, people could go straight into the NBA from high school, and college basketball was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. I've always loved college basketball.
Yeah,
and see now, they have to play for 1 year, and you have people that are there for the 1 year, and they go on, and so there's no loyalty there. I think I think college football would survive that because I think you're still going to get a product out there of kids who are studying and trying to better themselves, and they're playing for the love of the game. The vast majority of them are not going to the NFL. They're not going to make a career out of this. That's what draws me to the game. These guys really love the sport. So that's why I love it so much. Because that's why I hate the NFL, even before Colin Kaepernick. But we're not going to go there. Even before politics got involved, I wasn't an NFL fan, even though I do watch the NFL. I love college football. I don't think it'll be a drawback to college football because I think the people are still going to watch it because, especially in the South, people like Alabama and Mississippi and Arkansas who don't have a professional team to watch. That is our team. That is our professional team. Basically, is Arkansas Razorbacks, Alabama Crimson Tide, Auburn Tigers. Mississippi State Cowbells. So that's how we. I don't think it will be a setback, honestly. Just because of what I've seen with college basketball. I think actually the one and done rule in college basketball has actually hurt the league. It actually hurt the NCAA. I wish they would go to like baseball does. Let them go straight to the pros, or you have to play for 3 years.
Yeah.
Which is, well, I'd be fine with that because with baseball, we're seeing a boom in college baseball right now because they have to be there for 3 years.
Yeah.
So, like, they're building this program for 3 years. And so, yeah. And the MLB is fine. The NCAA baseball is fine. I think basketball would be good if they adopted that. NFL would be good if they adopted that too. I don't care if they go straight to the pros. I think it would be a better product, or at least comparable. What do you think, Rob?
No, I agree with you, man. But I mean, I think, basketball is already talking about going to 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, we all know how long it takes for them to like actually implement something. Just
Yeah.
like at college football and how long it took to get to the playoffs, and everybody was pissed for so long when we didn't have
It took
playoffs.
Alabama versus LSU is what it took.
Pretty much, it took a lot of things, but no, I think that I would love to see that. I think basketball should go to that, not force players to play at all in college. But if you are, then you have to play so long. Because personally, I don't think anyone should be forced to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
As having been to college and seen kind of how that is, I don't think. Obviously, I know your expenses get paid when you get a full ride scholarship, but that's not the only issue. Is some people just school just doesn't work for them. They don't do well.
Mm-hmm.
So to take someone and their talent when they could go ahead and, have a career making money,
Yeah.
But I like I didn't even realize baseball did that like that.
Mm-hmm. It's nice.
If you're going to play, then play and commit.
Right.
So, because Georgia just got their first 5-star recruit in basketball ever since they started keeping up with classifications, and he's probably going to be a one and done, top shooting guard in the country. So,
yeah.
See, what I hate about that is I feel like if a university offers you a scholarship, they're committing to pay your schooling for 3 to 4 years, like in football. And I think you're one and done's like basketball or something like that. I think it's not fair to the university because they're offering you a package for you to, like, they're committing to you for 3 to 4 years. And so I feel like they should be, if you're going to accept that, you should play for them for 3 to 4 years because they're going to, with like, if Tua wasn't one and done, if he was like, oh, I just had a good season, I'm going to go to the NFL, well, we just built a dynasty around him for a 3 to 4 year time span. So if he was a one and done, that just ruins Alabama's program, not just him, but anywhere else. So if Trevor Lawrence was a one and done, his freshman year, he had an amazing year. I'm sure the NFL would love to have him now. If they take him, that's going to ruin Clemson because now they just build a program for 3 to 4 years around him. So I think that if you commit to university and accept a scholarship, I think you should hold up your end of the deal to what that scholarship offers. But I also agree, like, college doesn't work out for everybody. I didn't like college. I was at work and I was like, I found a job that didn't need a college degree. So why am I doing this? So I definitely understand. I definitely, get that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, college is not for everyone, and we should not be Nazis about this and let kids go play ball. That's what I'm getting from everyone. Since we spent 27 minutes on our first segment, we're moving on to the next one. Kyler Murray is an idiot. What do you think? Rob, what do you say?
So obviously I made the schedule. No, I think
the one-liner. Yeah.
No. Okay, Justin, just for so you understand what he's saying there. A lot of times on questions, like especially with making picks for football, I make a little one-liner and then cut it off when I'm out. It's kind of like my so they always make
it's his trademark.
Yeah, it's my trademark. But anyway, Kyler Murray, I think he's making a mistake going to the NFL instead of playing baseball. Here's why. Kid is super talented. It's not that I don't think he's talented enough to play in the NFL. I don't doubt that for a minute that he has enough talent. To me, that's not the issue. To me, the fact that he's like 4 foot tall and he's playing with guys. No, I mean seriously though, like
Yeah, you're right.
I'm exaggerating, but he's super short. They list him as 5'11". That's bullcrap. I'm 5'10". He's shorter than I am. And the dude can't see over the defensive line. Like the dudes in the NFL are so much bigger. They're going to get in his face, block his vision. Yeah, he's fast, but we see how well that worked for Michael Vick. I mean, Michael Vick was taller than him. So I don't remember how tall I was. But anyway, point is, just because you're fast and just talent alone will not get you through the NFL. I mean, you've got to have so much more. It worked in college because in college, if you're super talented and super fast, it works. But you've got linemen in the NFL that are really fast as well. Mm-hmm. So I think you've got a sure thing in playing for the A's. They're going to pay you a ton of money. Justin, do you remember when he got drafted? Like how high?
I think the number 6 pick.
6, yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. He's going to get like tons of money. His rookie contract's going to be ridiculous. And then you add after that, he's going to be making bank for sure after his rookie contract. So I personally think it's a mistake. Some people think he's making the right decision, but I think part of that's because some people like football and not baseball. And so they are actually thinking about the logistics of it. They're just thinking what they want to see him do.
Football's better. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. No, I did want to add though, like Michael Vick had a completely different issue that made him fall off the track.
That was just a cheap shot because it worked for Mike.
In the same way that Mike Tyson had a demise, Michael Vick had a demise because he was away from the sport for so long. What do you think about Justin?
So you're gonna have to hear me out on this. I had the same viewpoint as Rob. I was like, dude, you're an idiot. You got took a 6th round overall. Talked to some guys at my work. One thing I'm going to say is, so I can get into this, is I like sports now more because I see it as a business thing. Like when I play on like my PlayStation or Xbox, like I play baseball and I play football in there. I got the NCAA 14 still, and like I'm on year like 2030 with Alabama's football team. Because I love the recruiting process. I love just trying to get recruits. I send the season, and I just try to get recruits. I think that's fun. Baseball, I took the Oakland A's, and I turned the salary cap on, and I literally try to draft players and trade players and try to make a World Series team. And normally within about 5 to 6 years, I get a World Series team. With that being said, I like the business side of sports. I think that's fun. So with that being said, I was thinking, Kyler Murray, you're an idiot. You're messing up your career. I talked to some guys at work, and they made some good points. First off, I just thought of this. There's a lot of first-round draft picks that don't pan out. Dansby Swanson was a first-round draft pick, was projected to the next Chipper Jones, and to me, he's just an average baseball player. He's my favorite Braves player, but he's just average. You had a guy drafted from the Houston Astros, Mark Apple, I think. Nobody's ever heard of him. He's never done a single thing. He's first-round draft pick, but was a bust. Baseball is very, very different. Kyler Murray was an outfielder. He has the outfield skills. But baseball, if you don't hit 3 for 10 and bat 300, Kyler Murray's going to get his signing bonus for the baseball, and he's going to go straight to minor leagues. That's how everybody does. He's going to be in the minor leagues for 3 to 4 years. So what happens if he goes into a slump in batting? Because batting is what matters in MLB. So what if he goes into a slump? Because college is different. They have aluminum bats, different pitchers. They got mediocre pitchers. He's not seen a pitcher like Noah Syndergaard or Clayton Kershaw, Madison Bumgarner. So what happens when he gets those pitchers and he can't hit worth a dime? He's just a career 192 batter or 250 batter. He's not going to amount to nothing. He's going to be a bust. So they brought that to my attention, and I'm like, that's a good point. With the NFL, he's going to go in and start right away. These NFL quarterbacks are making $30 million a year. So all he has to do is if he goes in and has 2 or 3 good seasons, gets a good signing bonus, gets a good salary of $20, $30 million, whatever it is, I now think football is a better route for him because even though it might be shorter lived, he might have a longer baseball career. He won't make the money that he's going to make being a first. You got to think he's a kid. He's just like me and you. Our mindset is not playing the sport. I want to make money. So I think that if he goes into football, he's going to make more money faster. Whether he pans out or not, that's up in the air. I mean, he's a talented quarterback, and you got to think Drew Brees. He's a short quarterback, and he's had a very successful career with the Saints. He's like 5'10". So I think with Kyler Murray choosing football, now that I understand the business side of it, it's smarter for him with making more money faster. Because if he goes into a slump in baseball, he'll never get that contract on a Major League Baseball team and never make the million. So I think it's smarter that he goes to football now.
Personally, I think he was going to get more guaranteed money with baseball
Yeah.
because that was going to happen for sure. And and with baseball, you do have a longer career, and to me, I'm a quality of life kind of guy. Like I think baseball is a better. If you have the opportunity to go to football or baseball, if you love both sports, you've been playing them your whole life, I would go with baseball because you're going to have a longer career. You're going to enjoy life a lot more. You're not going to feel like crap every day. You're not going to get hit in the head every single day. You're not going to get concussions every single day, just about. I know it's safer to be a quarterback now than it was 20 years ago, but you're still the target in every
Yeah.
single down of a football game. So yeah, I would go with what's going to get you the best bang for your buck. I mean, yeah, you can probably make more money playing NFL, but you could probably die tomorrow playing NFL. You know, so I would go with what you have guaranteed for a longer period of time. And if it doesn't work out, you know what? You really, I think it's a safer bet to me.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I'm more of a baseball guy, even though I really enjoy watching football more. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to the next segment. SEC football programs way too early. Buy and sell. I've got one for you. Surprise, surprise. Arkansas is ranked number 23 in recruiting, and they got a grad transfer at quarterback for a year, Ben Hicks, who threw for 3,500 yards and 33 touchdowns in his last year under Coach Morris, who he's playing for this year at SMU. They win 6 or 7 games this year, buying or selling. Rob.
That's a man. Why you gotta throw that as the first one? Like it's so tough because I think they're going to be definitely better, but you still got to compete in the West, man. Who are their schedule? First of all,
They don't have a Power 5 team outside of the SEC. So there's 4 teams
so 4 wins potentially right there.
Colorado State they lost to last year, but that was a stupid game.
Right.
So yeah, they've got 4 wins built in.
Okay. And they're not gonna fall for a fair catch this year.
That was a low
blow. That was bad, man. All right. Let's see. Portland State. So anyway, Colorado State, San Jose State. We've as far as our East team, our East teams, we have Mizzou every year. We play Kentucky this year without Benny Snell, and Mizzou we have. Can't remember. It's at home. We're playing Mizzou at home, so it's favorable.
But then you got you said, are you saying 6 or 7?
I said 6 or 7. Let's just say 6. How about that?
Okay.
Then we get 2 SEC wins.
Right. See, I don't think he'll beat Mizzou just because of what Kelly Bryant brings with the high. They're bringing back their offensive scheme plus Kelly Bryant. So they're probably going to still be an up-tempo team. They're going to be hard to stop.
But is Kelly Bryant better than Drew Lock?
I don't think he's better. I honestly think he might fit that offense better just because it's a fast-paced offense.
That's
But it
fair.
might even be harder to stop than last year. I don't know, but I'm just thinking out loud. I have no idea how Auburn's going to be because they sucked like crap last year.
They've got Auburn at home, which is favorable.
I'll go ahead and buy it, just because it's kind of a toss up to me. I think they'll win 5 at least, but can they get that weighted 6 game? I don't know, but I'll buy it. Justin, what do you think?
I'm looking at their schedule right now. They got start off with Portland State. I think they win. They got Colorado State. I think they win. I think they beat San Jose State. And I see y'all got Western Kentucky and Missouri. So Missouri Little Rocks. That's 5 teams. Wait, is that Missouri? Yeah, I think that's actually Missouri though. So yeah. Yeah, so you got 4 teams. I think you're gonna win automatically. So squeezing out 2 SEC wins. I mean, I think y'all. Yeah, it's good. If y'all play good football at the beginning of the year, you could possibly beat Ole Miss. Missouri's going to be a toss-up. I mean, Alabama's had transfer quarterbacks to Jacob Coker, and he didn't start right away the first year he came. So who's to say Kelly Bryant's actually going to start and he's going to do good with Missouri? He might not click with the team or the offense. So I think Kentucky's not going to be good this year with losing Benny Snell. So I think y'all can get 6 wins. I don't think that's far-fetched at all. So I'll say buy on that as well.
Okay. Obviously, I'm buying it too. I'm just a little bit biased, just a smidge bit of bias. I'm even before that. Huh?
Who do you think the 2 SEC wins are going to come against?
I think we're going to beat Ole Miss, and I think we are going to beat. I think we beat Kentucky. I think Kentucky, Ole Miss. I think Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State, or not Mississippi State. Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Missouri are all kind of toss-ups, and it could go either way. And I think, let's see, Mississippi State is at home. 2 years ago when we played at home, we should have beat them, but we made a really bad coaching call at the end. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I really do think that we're going to surprise some people though in the SEC. So I mean, I'm buying it. I made this question. I'm buying it. So Texas A&M is ranked 4 in recruiting. They make a run for the SEC West this year. Buying or selling? Rob, what you think?
Sorry, McKissick. I'm selling that. They're good, but you just got. I think it's between Alabama and LSU next year. I honestly do. I don't think Auburn's going to compete. I think they're still on that Gus Malzahn needs to be fired train. Because he's a joke. And
he ain't lying.
And I don't think Ole Miss will compete, nor Mississippi State. I really think Coach O is doing a lot over there at LSU. I think they're going to be big time. Yeah. So I think it's going to be between Alabama and LSU. But I think A&M will be. They'll probably finish number 3. I'm gonna go ahead and say that, but I don't think they have, and unless they just happen to, if they beat LSU, and then hit, yeah,
I said it again,
yeah, but if they beat LSU, I just don't see them beating LSU and Alabama. That's too much to me.
I got you.
So,
J-Mac.
Well, I'm looking right now. They got LSU at LSU, so I think that's going to be pretty hard. I don't like Texas A&M. I'm not a big really I don't like Jimbo Fisher either.
I can't stand him.
But I
Saban assistant.
but I think that the SEC West right now is kind of down. I don't think there's going to be a team besides Alabama and LSU that can really compete for that. And I'm not a big fan of Ogeron. I think that he's kind of really going off Les Miles recruits. I mean, he lost the battle with Ishmael Sofser, the number 40 prospect in LSU, or he was in LSU, number 40 prospect overall. Not a big believer in Ogeron. They don't even have a quarterback, really. Texas A&M has a lot of good recruits. They've got a lot of good recruits last year and this year. So I don't see A&M beating Alabama this year at all. That's just me being biased. But I think that if they can beat LSU, I think they could potentially, because Auburn always could potentially upset Alabama. And if Alabama beats A&M and they both go in with one loss, I think it could be. I think it could be I think Texas A&M could compete for the West. So I'd say I'll buy that as long as they can beat LSU.
All right. I don't think they're going to compete because they don't have an elite quarterback, which is what Jimbo Fisher needs to be a very competitive coach. He had to have Jameis Winston to win a national championship, a Heisman winning quarterback. So yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. This year they're playing in Tuscaloosa, right, Justin?
Crap! I just got off that, so let me
I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, because I think they played in College Station last year. I don't think they're going to compete because I've been playing against Texas A&M my whole life. As far as my teams in my Arkansas,
they're actually at it. They're in Texas A&M.
Oh, they're in Texas A&M. Okay. Well, Texas College Station is a weird place, man. Like they get all kinds of great recruiting classes every year, man. Like they build this team up, and then for some reason it just fizzles out, and it's been that way my whole life. Like Arkansas and Texas A&M has a long-standing rivalry, which Arkansas is winning that rivalry, not in the last 7 years, but they have been winning that rivalry for the past 200 years. But whatever. We've sucked for the last several years, ever since they came to the conference. But anyway, it's just a weird place, man. Like they can get all these players, but they just cannot. It will not come together for some reason, and I think it's just going to be the same old thing with the Aggies. We'll see, though. We'll see what happens. Let's just move on to basketball because we're like.
Wait, can I add one team real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Tennessee. The last 2 years, 2 years ago, I said that'd be a 4-8 team, and I was kind of scared to take that bet. I ended up saying 5-7. They ended up going 4-8 2 years ago. Last year, I said they'd go 4-8 again. They ended up going 5-7. So I've been pretty close. Been looking at their schedule and their past two recruiting classes. I really like it. Y'all are gonna think I'm crazy, but I think Tennessee could potentially have a 9-win season this year. They start off with 3 easy wins: Georgia State, BYU, and Chattanooga. They got Florida, Georgia, Mississippi State, Alabama, South Carolina, UAB, Kentucky, Missouri, Vanderbilt. And I think with what Pruitt's got brewing in Knoxville, I think they can have a 9-win season.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna say BYU might not be an easy win, man. Like that's a legit contender.
Yeah.
But I also want to say that every Alabama fan that I know thinks that Pruitt is like amazing. So so I get that. Like I hear that all. Like I don't know. I'm as far as Tennessee goes, I'm on the wait and see thing. Like Pruitt was a great defensive coordinator, but that doesn't always work out. It worked out with Kirby. It did not work out with McElwain.
Nope.
So you never know what's going to happen. Let's move on to basketball. Feel free to speak up, Justin. You said you didn't like basketball, but it's okay. We're going to reform you just yet.
He likes basketball. He's not as knowledgeable as he is in football. That's all it is.
Yeah. I follow SEC basketball a little bit.
So who are the SEC contenders this year? I mean, Tennessee, obviously. Kentucky every year. But is there going to be a sleeper this year that just comes out of nowhere? Auburn has already showed us that they're not what we thought they were going to be. Ole Miss has just came out of the woodwork. LSU, what the heck, man? Like, their only SEC loss was against Arkansas. But I don't know what's going to happen with the SEC. What do y'all think is going to happen? Any other teams besides Tennessee and Kentucky that will contend for the national championship this year?
Oh, national championship. I thought you were going for SEC championship.
National.
No, not
No.
at all. Not this year. If we're talking SEC tournament, then I think
the tournament, yeah.
I think LSU could certainly for the tournament because you've got I think realistically the teams I give a chance to win the SEC tournament are Tennessee, Kentucky because they've got tons of them. LSU because they've got one of the best point guards in the country. And Mississippi State is just a good team. I think they've got a good team together. This might surprise y'all. I don't think they will, but I think they have a shot. I'm even putting South Carolina in there. South Carolina's got the veteran team. They play great defense. That's what keeps them in ball games. And Justin knows me well that as far as basketball is concerned, how much of a defensive guy I am. He watched me play basketball in high school, so
High school basketball games are fun.
So I don't think they'll win the tournament, but I'm putting them up there as a possible chance because it's SEC tournament. When it comes to nationally speaking, I think the only teams that have a shot in the SEC this year are Tennessee and Kentucky. I don't really think Kentucky has that big of a shot. It's funny you mentioned that because I just looked at a thing that they've got the running odds, and they showed 5 teams of winning the title, national title, and it had Duke, Gonzaga, Virginia, Tennessee, and Kentucky. All of the first 3 I named, Duke, Gonzaga, Virginia, were all in the 20% range of chance to win. Tennessee with 3%, Duke with 2%. I will go ahead and say that's crap. While I think Duke, Gonzaga, and Virginia, very great teams, all have great chances of winning. Look what Virginia did last year. How many people picked them to win the entire thing, and they screwed their brackets over to be in the very beginning? Me. So I'm a little bitter, but I'm not too bitter. But what I will say is that 3% chance for Tennessee is complete bullcrap. They have one of the most veteran teams in the country with loads of talent. Their number one rank right now is not to be taken lightly. Will they win? I don't know, but 3% is a joke of a percentage. I'll go ahead and stick with a 2% for Kentucky. I'm not really buying them winning this year, despite me being a fan. I don't think they're really good. They have a lot of talent, but it's that same thing I see every year, with the exception of when John Wall and Anthony Davis were there and they couldn't even win the title. So.
See, with Tennessee, I actually got a question for y'all. I don't follow basketball as much, but I do try to keep up with college basketball. Tennessee beat Alabama by 1, and I got a good friend of mine. He's a Tennessee fan, and he was talking to me about Tennessee basketball, just kind of filling me in. And one concern I have with Tennessee, and I see what y'all think about it. Like I said, I don't have much knowledge about this. So with kind of the teams that Tennessee's played, I'm looking at the schedule right here. It looks like there's a lot of weak SEC teams this year, which Florida surprised me. I didn't realize that they were that low compared to them normally being pretty good. But how does Tennessee? How do you guys think Tennessee compares nationally when they enter the tournament and they start playing these better teams like Duke and Villanova and Gonzaga and all that? How will they start to pan out when they play? Like in Virginia, how will they start to pan out when they start playing, better teams?
So what I'll say to that, the first thing I'll say is that the SEC is actually not weak. Florida is down because um, I think they've been. I'm not sure, but I think they've been dealt with some injuries. But they they just don't. Their offensive game is so inconsistent. Um, but overall, the SEC is climbing and climbing compared to what it was a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They finally have gotten really good classes. You talk about Alabama and Tennessee being a point apart. Well, that just shows you. I mean, you're playing 18 conference games. It's
Yeah,
super tough to not slip up and lose one.
yeah,
But what I'll say about Tennessee is what I respect so much. One, their coaching. They have one of the best coaches in the country, and I will fight you on that because he is. I respect him more than most coaches. There's very few that I respect more.
Barnes.
Yeah, Rick Barnes, great coach, huge respect. Um, but his players, like the Alabama game, is a good example. They um, they almost lost that game to Alabama. Alabama's a good team, mind you. Nothing. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying anything against Alabama, but Tennessee was definitely favored to win that game
mm,
and probably should have lost that game. But they keep finding ways to win the games even when they should lose. That to
mm,
me is the sign of a great basketball team. When you playing bad and you should lose and you find ways to win.
Mm-hmm.
They have the experience, which to me, like all the experts are talking about pure talent. Pure talent doesn't always win tournaments. A lot of times experience does. Look at what happened with Wisconsin a few years ago. They had a bunch of white dudes that, I mean, let's be honest. You talk about the athleticism versus some of these other teams, they're not even comparable.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a bunch of seniors on one team in Wisconsin in recent years, and they go to the Final Four. It's like there's a reason for that because they play well together, they shoot well, they just do things well. At the experience in the tournament time, it can pay dividend. So I think I'm interested to see how they do. Yes, I understand their non-conference schedule was not the greatest, and people are going to hit at the fact that they lost to Kansas, who has 6 losses. But they lost to Kansas before Azubuike went down, who is their best player and really like makes that team twice as good. Kansas with Azubuike versus without him is like night and day difference. So, and a lot of those losses came after he got hurt.
yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, we can sit here and say who we think is going to do what in the tournament. You never know. That's what's great. That's what I love about the NCAA tournament. You never know. But do I think they have a strong chance of going all the way? Absolutely. I
Yeah.
A lot of it will depend on their bracket, but as of right now, I'm saying they're going to at least go to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
I mean that's my prediction right now before I even see the bracket.
I thought so
So
too. I mean, I don't follow basketball, but what I've seen Tennessee do this year, I think they'll go far in the tournament unless they get upset by a small school, which there's always some upsets. But I'm really proud of how Tennessee's done well compared. I know back in the day, Tennessee and Alabama used to go that like NIU tournament or whatever it was, and so that's awesome.
NIT.
NIT, yeah, sorry, but I think it's awesome to see a different team that's at the number one spot. So I think that's awesome for them. So I
Well,
definitely
and here's the thing I'll say about Duke. Duke is either we're going to the Final Four / national championship, or we're losing real early. They're never
yeah,
in between.
Mm-hmm.
They're a hit or they're a bust in the tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's just hard to really know what they're going to do, which is really annoying when making pick bracket. It's really annoying.
what do
I
you think about
love
that Zion dude?
that dude is
Dude,
incredible.
he's
Yeah,
legit, man.
yeah, I like him a
He's
lot.
he's if he's I don't understand how mocks don't have him the number one draft pick. I just don't get
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's the best player in the country. I mean, there's no doubt
yeah,
about that.
Yeah, everyone I've seen, he has him at number 2, and I'm like, why? Like,
yeah.
It's probably just because of what the team at number one needs.
but it's
So
Cleveland. It's Cleveland, man. They've got Jordan Clarkson and Colin Sexton,
Sexton.
man. They have 2 great point guards. Why do they need to draft a point guard? Get a
and
forward in there. Like,
that's what do you
get
expect?
Zion.
It's Cleveland.
Yeah, that's true. Cleveland sucks at everything. They're going to suck at drafting too.
LeBron made them for however many years. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. Yeah,
let's be honest.
yeah.
So
Does Zion have a
um,
chance to be the next LeBron in the NBA? You think?
Nah.
I don't know. How many
Yeah,
times do they keep saying that when somebody
yeah.
comes up and
The
or
next.
like I like who was it? Not Sexton, but
I
who
think it
was
was
it?
Colin Sexton.
No, it was Trey Young.
Trey
They
Young.
said
Oh yeah,
They said the next Steph Curry, and I'm like, okay, come on. You're taking a kid who's a freshman in college and telling him he's going to be one of the top 5 point guards in the NBA already. Like that's
yeah.
a huge thing to live up to.
Mm-hmm.
I just
You're
like
pressuring the
Zion's
kid.
size. Zion's size, just like I saw stuff where he's like bigger than Gronk, and I mean,
Bigger
he's just
than
a
Khalil Mack.
like he's just a, and it's not fat, it's muscle. Like he's just like a big dude, and like it's,
And he has a
I
40-inch vertical.
yeah, I
Yeah,
like his athleticism. I like
he's
that.
a dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a great player nonetheless. But anyway, I think um, I think Tennessee's underrated for what the chances they're given. So
yeah. I agree. I think Tennessee's got some dudes, man.
Yeah,
Like I think it all comes down to guard play, and when it comes to the NCAA tournament, and I think Admiral Schofield is a baller.
I like
Like
him.
I do, man.
Yeah,
That dude is a straight. He's a stud, man. And I think
yeah,
he has the ability to take over the game along with Jordan Bone. Like
mm,
I think they can legit make a deep run in the tournament. So
what another
I
thing is that people want to talk about Duke because of Zion or this because of this player, and I'm like Zion is definitely the best player in the country. You got this and that, but everyone wants to look at basketball and compare it to the way the NBA is because LeBron's on this team, so this team's automatically going to win this game, or
Mhm.
what have you.
hmm
College basketball doesn't work the same way.
Yeah.
One player doesn't make a team.
yeah,
One player doesn't control the entire every entire game that you play.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee has a team full of guys that are veteran players,
Mm-hmm.
experienced. They're ready to go out there and ball.
I might
That
get
is
crucified for
why
this, but Tennessee. Who's that other guy at Tennessee that's doing really good? Like they got
Grant Williams.
Grant
yeah,
Williams.
Grant Williams. So, I mean, they got two guys. I mean, they got like you said, a
He's
team. Like I like
he's
that. They got
he's a crybaby, but he's a great player.
yeah,
Um,
No, he's a dude. I'll say
he's a
that's
man.
he's a man. That's the thing though with college basketball, and I would be hard pressed to. I'd like to see y'all like Google this, but when is the last time that the number one draft pick won a national championship the year before that? It does not happen very often, guys.
Mm-mm.
Like
Yeah.
very rarely. Like the best player in the country is 99% of the time not on the best team in the country. So in basketball, anyway.
Right.
Well, we're in football too, but it's normally they give it to the best team. When when Tebow beat Darren McFadden, but whatever. We'll move on. We'll
You're
move
not bitter
on.
about that or anything.
I'm not bitter at all. No, I'm not. I'm not bitter about that.
I liked him at Arkansas. He was a dang good running back.
For real, man. Dude was
Yeah.
legit. For him to be like the runner-up 2 years in a row to Troy Smith and Tim Tebow, who he let's just throw it out there. He his NFL career lasted as long as the two of them put together.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's just move on to the picks since we're like out of time. What do y'all got for this weekend? We're going to start with the first games. Hold on a second. Let me pull them back up. I had them earlier. We've got Auburn. What?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say the first game we've got starting at 11 o'clock my time. I don't care
So
about
12
you guys.
o'clock, real time.
I don't care about you Eastern people in the future. Like, I don't want to hear that mess. We've got Auburn at Vandy in Nashville. Vandy. Yeah. What you got? Rob, take it away.
Well, Vandy sucks, so Auburn.
Okay. One-liner. Yeah. One-liner, Rob. Let's go, Justin.
I don't follow basketball much, so I'm going to go with Auburn. And they actually beat Alabama by over 20, so or by 20 or something like that. I'm going to go with Auburn on that.
Yeah, I've got Auburn in that one as well. They've got a great front court. I don't know why they have not lived up to their expectations because they've got a
They suck on the road typically, but Vanderbilt is that bad. When Georgia beats you by 20 points, you're terrible. But let's just call it like it is. Georgia's awful this year, so
okay. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Vanderbilt's not very good. Okay, we'll move on. Texas A&M plays at South Carolina at 12 o'clock Central. Who you got, Rob?
I got South Carolina on that one. I think A&M is struggling, and they just destroyed Georgia this past week. Shocker. And I think that I don't know. I don't think they're going to play as well as they did. I think they're going to slip up, and so I'm going to go with South Carolina's defense and experience on that one. And South Carolina at home is tough to beat.
Yeah, Justin, what you got?
I'm looking at the schedule right now. You'll have to bear with me. Like I said, I'm getting reformed to the basketball. I'm looking at this, just kind of the schedules right now. I'm just going to go take a wild pick. I'm going to go just A&M on this. I just kind of see some of the teams they beat and kind of some of the points they kind of put up, and so I'm just going to go with A&M. Don't really have much validity to that, so
it's all good. It's all good. To what he was saying about being reformed to be a basketball player, I say that all the time. I posted it on the Tavern. If you're not in the Tavern, you need to join. But I say it all the time. Arkansas. Basketball is the most reformed sport because basketball was invented by a reformed pastor. Look that up. James Naismith. Anyway, I've got South Carolina winning this because South Carolina is actually really good, and they've got a great coach. I'd say they're really good. They're pretty good. And it's at home, and they've got a really good coach. I like their defense that they play. As long as the Silva does not get in foul trouble, I think they've got this game in the bag. Florida plays at Alabama, and it's going to be at 1 o'clock Alabama time. So, Rob, who you got?
Florida's that's man. I give them a shot, but I don't think I've painfully watched them. They're struggling a lot. I'm gonna pick Alabama on that one. Alabama's pretty strong. They've got good post play, and their guards are stepping up. When Alabama, the key to Alabama's success this year is if they can get the ball in and score inside well, but also they tend to live and die by the three, which
Yeah.
is dangerous. But
Uh-huh.
I think they'll be fine tomorrow.
Justin, the resident Alabama fan, what do you think?
I've actually tried to start following Alabama's basketball team this year. So with Rob saying earlier, with Florida being down a little bit this year, and you said they've been plagued with injuries. Watched a couple of Alabama games. Saw they got blown out by Auburn. I saw they actually whooped Ole Miss. Actually watched that game, and they played Tennessee pretty well. I like our coach Avery Johnson. I really like him. Uh, so I'm going to go with Alabama on this. I think they'll get it done.
To the point about their injuries, I don't think they have that many. I think it's just like I think they had one of their big players, starters, go out. I can't remember. I haven't followed them too well, but JB, do you know? I feel like they lost somebody that was big, but I can't remember because I don't remember the. I knew their team better last year than I do this year, but anyway,
Yeah, I don't remember.
their offense is just struggling. Was the point, biggest point I was making.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I really like my favorite coach in college basketball is Avery Johnson. I really do like him. I've always liked him growing up, even though I don't really like the Spurs. Anyway, I really like Avery. Always have. Um, and Alabama basketball has gotten me to say two words that I've never said in my life when they beat Kentucky a few weeks ago. I said it on air with an Alabama fan, Sam Wallace. I said those two words.
Say it again.
I can't say it again. If they beat Kentucky again in like the SEC tournament, I will say it again because it will make me super happy because I hate Kentucky, I always have. Yeah, I like Alabama since Avery took over. I like Avery Johnson. I've always liked Avery Johnson, and I like the way his style of coaching. I like the way he talks. I like Kyra Lewis Jr. is legit, man. That dude is a baller. And I like John Petty. I like Dante Hall. I think they're going to win this one, and I don't think it's really even going to be close. Florida is not what they have been in the past. Maybe closer than
All right.
It'll be within a few
No,
scores.
you're good.
Next game we've got on the list is Missouri at Ole Miss.
No, you're good,
at
man.
2:30
We'll,
Central, and Rob is still talking, so we're gonna pause. Okay, we're gonna keep going. You need to walk away.
I'm
but
just getting him to keep talking. So
I'm gonna say that
I'm
Ole
glad you're
Miss
getting on, man.
wins this game against Missouri because Missouri is not that great.
No, you're good, man.
Even
This
though
isn't
they
too.
just beat us, I
we're not
believe, but
too,
it was the way we
over the
beat
top
them
on
earlier
this.
at home. So
Having
we'll
fun.
see what happens with that.
But,
Ole Miss is actually pretty good. I think they've
No,
only lost
we're
one or
go
two
ahead,
games in conference.
Let me get back to
So
it.
I think
We'll catch up
they've
then.
got this. Justin, what do you think?
No, you're good, man. Let me get off. All right, see you.
McCrary?
All right, we lost Justin. His computer rebooted on him apparently.
All right, Rob.
So, what was the? I missed that.
Mizzou. Mizzou is at Ole Miss.
Mizzou at Ole Miss.
Yes.
I'm actually gonna go with Ole Miss on that one. I think. Do you know what the spread is?
No, I've not looked at the spread.
That one's kind of a toss-up for me. I don't think Missouri's quite as good as they were last year. Ole Miss is like a they're hard to judge this year, but I'll give them the edge at home.
Yeah, they've actually had a pretty decent season this year. I think they've only. Let me look at the spread real quick. No, because my phone's taking forever.
Let me see if I can find it. I was kind of curious because my mind wouldn't be slow.
Yeah.
Here we go. Maybe.
Know what I'm saying? The Ole Miss is I said 1 or 2. They've lost 4 games in conference, but it's okay. Is Justin coming back?
3. Nah, because his computer rebooted, so I told him not to worry about it.
4.
By the time he got it back up and got on.
Oh, so 3 is the
3.
So Ole Miss is the favorite?
No. Ole Miss by 9. Sorry.
Okay,
I
so
read
9
that
points.
wrong. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, I picked Ole Miss anyway. I don't think it's going to be that close. Next game we've got is LSU travels to Athens to play Georgia. Oh, what do you think, Rob?
Who was it? Sorry.
LSU at Georgia.
I just freaking played LSU, man. Or it feels like we did. LSU's going to win. Georgia's problem is the fact that it's not talent. They got a first year coach, and he can't get. I don't think he can get them to buy into the game plan. But the turnovers are killing them.
Yeah.
That's their biggest problems. But LSU is strong. I think they've got it.
Mm-hmm. Thing about basketball is, when you play a team twice in the same year, you're playing 2 teams a week, versus like baseball and basketball, you're only playing 1 conference team a week. So it's twice as quick that you go through the schedule. So it's like, we just played them, like that's how I felt about LSU. That's how I felt about Missouri. We ended up beating LSU. We didn't beat Missouri, which was, I'm not bitter. I'm going to pick LSU because I think LSU is freaking legit. They've got some dudes on their team, and it's not just the point guard, man. Like, that team is legit. I mean, they've got some guys in the front court that are just phenomenal. I'm not going to go into it because we're out of time. Like I said, I'm not going to go to the game of the week. We're going to skip on over to Arkansas is at home against Mississippi State. Who you got, Rob?
It's at Mississippi State.
Oh, it's at Arkansas.
Oh, it's at Arkansas.
Yeah.
That's a tough one then.
They both have the same conference record. Mississippi State is 17-7 overall. Arkansas is 14-10 overall.
That's a tough one. I was gonna say if it's at Mississippi State, I was gonna pick Mississippi State, but man. Let's see. Just trying to look at it real quick. The spread's 1.5 for Mississippi State. That's real helpful. Jeez. Mississippi State just destroyed Alabama. I didn't even see that. You know what? I'm actually going to go with Arkansas on this one.
No, right.
I wasn't, but after part of it's because I want to kill Mississippi State for beating Big Blue Nation, but no, they played a good game in that game, and or sorry, they didn't beat Blue Nation. LSU did. I'm sorry, but so I mean they came close. I think though after sorry, it's 1 a.m. Eastern time. I'm getting tired. But I think after beating Alabama by 19 points, they might be on a little bit of a high. So I'm gonna go with Arkansas on that one.
I agree. Basketball is it's a different sport, man. Like it's just highs and lows, man. Like, it's just totally different. Like, man, a team can just go on a winning streak and win 4 or 5 games and beat like one of the best teams, and then just come out and like come flat the next game against a really crappy team. So yeah, I agree with you there. Like they just came like we beat LSU and we won the next game, but then we like lost 2 in a row. Like it was just I don't know. So yeah, I agree there. I'm going to Arkansas because I'm a homeboy, and because it's at home in what's been called the basketball palace of the Mid South, Bud Walton Arena. Um, no, I think it's yeah, I think we've got that one because we've got to get our head in the game, and I think Mike Anderson's going to do that because he's been known to do that in February. For the record, the most losses he's had in February has been 2 since he's came to Arkansas. Well, in the last 7 years, I think, since he came to Arkansas. But anyway, the game of the week in the SEC is Tennessee travels to Lexington, Kentucky to play the Wildcats. Who do you got in that game, Mr. McNew?
Well, um, if you'd asked me a few days ago, I would have said definitely Tennessee. And I'm a little biased in this one, obviously, as well. But I'm actually going to pick UK in this one for one reason. The chances of Kentucky losing 2 games in a row in Rupp, I just don't. Kentucky doesn't. That's one thing really the only reason why I'm picking UK in this one. I think Tennessee's that strong, but I think UK is not going to lose 2 in a row in Rupp. It's just Calipari is like I don't even remember 160 and 8 or now 9, I guess, in Rupp. So I just don't see them losing 2 in a row. But come time when they travel to Knoxville, UK will definitely lose that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel the same way. Like before Kentucky lost to LSU earlier this week, I was thinking Tennessee's got this game in the bag because Tennessee is the better team. Like, let's just throw that out there. Tennessee is better than Kentucky this year. But I think they're going to defend their home court, man. I'm going to have to go with the Wildcats this time. I think they're going to win it. I think it's going to be close, but I think they're going to find a way to beat the Goliath in the SEC this year. Kentucky's going to win by one possession in this game. And Rob, you said you wanted to pick Maryland versus Michigan.
Yeah, I picked that one because I was looking through other games and I was thinking we could pick some non-SEC games, but then I looked at the rest of the because there are a lot of ACC games, but the ACC games were all none of them were really that great of matchups. You don't have your Duke Carolina or Duke Virginia or anything like that kind of matchups this Saturday. And that one was just one that stuck out to me as top 25 matchups. Michigan is coming off of a loss. They're favored by 7 at home. And if you look at ESPN, they give them although only a 7-point favorite, the matchup predictor gives them like 80-something% chance of winning. But I'm going to go with the unpopular opinion and pick Maryland on this one. I'm going to I don't really follow the Big Ten that much in basketball as like I do SEC. But you got two good programs here, and I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that Michigan is upset about losing, but they, instead of turning into aggression to win, they backslide slightly and lose a second in a row. Unpopular opinion, I'm probably one of very few making that, but I just feel like making a crazy pick. So that's my 2 cents on that. Michigan is 22-3, and Maryland is 19-6 for reference.
That's fair. For reference, I mean, Maryland went toe to toe with Virginia and lost by 5 earlier this year. So yeah, I could definitely see Maryland stealing that one and catching Michigan on their toes. I, you know, Michigan just lost to Penn State. I think I'm going to go with Maryland as well. To be honest, yeah, I like you said. I think they're going to come out deflated from the loss earlier, and I think Maryland's going to surprise everyone and win that game. Yeah. So
I think the difference with basketball as opposed to football is with football you have a lot less games, whereas basketball it's a long stretch,
Yep.
and so it's easy in football. You lose one game and you're like, okay, they're going to win that next game because they're going to be pissed and they're going to play and everything. You know, I think in basketball it's really easy. It's a lot easier than football to get in the backslide, just because even if it's a very short one, just because of the longevity of the season as far as how many games you play. So unpopular pick, and Michigan has a lot higher chance of winning. But hey, why not live on the wild side, right? Jack
right.
Links.
Jack Links. I got you, bro. Well, I think that's it for the day. Did you have a good Valentine's Day, Rob?
I went to work. I came home like
It's
a
all good.
normal day.
It's all good.
I'm single, so I don't really.
Dude, I'm married and I didn't do much on Valentine's Day.
I mean,
no.
it's easy for me to say as a single guy, but I think it's a joke of a holiday. So
Yeah, I agree.
I think we focus on the fact that when you pick a day of love, I mean, especially if you're married to someone, I mean, shouldn't you be celebrating that every single day?
You ain't lying, bro.
Just my thought, but I guess that's easy for me to say from being single.
He's not wrong. And I've been married for 9 years this year. He's not wrong. You should be loving your wives and husbands every single day of the year. But no, my wife and I, our first date was on Valentine's Day 11 years ago. So, it's a little bit different with us. It's more sentimental. But yeah, we didn't really do anything for Valentine's Day because we have kids, and our daughter had her party this year at school at her preschool. So that's what we did for Valentine's Day. We went to the preschool for the little kids party, the 3-year-olds party. Well, and that was fun.
Again, it's different coming from me, but I think part of it is not, I don't think there's anything wrong with, having a date or going, having some fun on it. I think the biggest thing is not to put too much importance on that day. I think that's the biggest issue, especially from a biblical side of marriage. You're putting so much on one day instead of focusing on every day, making your marriage stronger. But I'm not married, so it's easy for me to sit back and talk about marriage, and I haven't been there and experienced the day to day, but that's just my thoughts looking from afar, I guess.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Yeah. So anyway, I enjoyed the Valentine's Day, and I enjoyed this podcast. Glad Justin joined us for a little while. I think he ducked out because he didn't like talking about basketball.
No, his computer crashed.
No, I believe I'm just kidding.
He actually he's been texting me and he apologized like 10 times because he feels like he messed up the cast. But
no, it's fine. It's fine.
That's what I told him.
We've done this before, so
we're our own host have messed it up. If you want to, actually, I think every single one of us has had a malfunction at one time. We've been kicked off. So
yeah, at one point I think it was me, Ashton, and Wes were the only ones on the call one night. And I legit had the stomach bug and I ducked out about halfway through. So it ended up being just Wes and Ashton the rest of the time. So
but
yeah.
I mean, we've all had like problems like being kicked off and all that. It happens. So.
Oh, it happens all the time. Like every week, actually, it happens. So we never have a perfect cast. So
No.
But anyway, I enjoyed it. I'm glad we got together for the first time in 3 weeks, and I've had a good time. And I just want to remind everyone, remember, brothers, let your light shine before men so that they may see your good works and that they will give glory to your Father in heaven. And we'll see you in the tavern.